Hello and welcome into the Week 4 edition of the Commissioner's Corner in the League of Extraordinary Salesmen. The 49ers continue to be absolutely hammered by injuries as they lose to the Jaguars 26-21. It has become an absolute joke with the 49ers as they literally had a waiting line to get into the blue tent on the sideline. Ricky Pearsall getting looked at and Jawan Jennings had to wait as if this was some damn strip mall urgent care office where you just can't get seen by the doctor. Simply embarrassing. And speaking of embarrassing, the Jets show up on national TV for us all to mock as they come up short against the Dolphins 27-21. But a congratulations goes out to Tony, earning this week's high score with a 174.45 to 93.9 win over Matt. His roster was firing on all cylinders with Travis Etienne, Ashton Plenty, and Amon-Ra St. touchdown. It was an easy runaway win. Speaking of, let's take a look at our worst to first segment brought to you by the loser, Matt. Let's see what he had to say.
Hey, y'all. Hell of a week 4, right? Well, not for me. For everyone else. Definitely. Yeah, it's been rough. Been a rough 4 weeks. I'm terrible. Really don't know how to dig myself up out of this hole that I've got going on at all. I've just no idea what's happening. I mean, when you get less than 10 points from 3 of your players, you know it's a bad sign. Like, really bad, you know. Jefferson had his best day, too. I thought for sure this was the week that I was going to break out of this 4-game losing streak, especially with Jefferson getting his best day, which is like mediocre, less than 20 points. But anyway, you know, when Montgomery gets like 2 points, not a good sign. Not a good sign. And I knew it was downhill once I just saw that the game times, like, they kept going down. You know, well, each quarter started and then the clock ticked away but their points weren't going up. You know, it's kind of important in fantasy. Your players need to get more points as the game clock goes down. So that didn't happen. And it hasn't happened really this whole season. So, you know, maybe next year. I'm honestly not really holding my breath. I wear a large. So get that vest ready because I'm pretty sure it's mine. Again, I don't think I'm getting out of this one. Congrats, Tony, on just destroying me. Really unnecessary. I don't think you needed to you kicked me while I was down over and over and over, and it was, you know, it hurt a little bit inside. And congrats, Val, on, again, being undefeated. Good job. Cheers.
Matt, make sure to hold your head up. Tough news there for sure. But with that, let's take a look at some other matchups from around the league. I had another respectable day, but it wasn't enough as Nick got off to a good start Thursday with Marvin Harrison finding the end zone and capped it off with a huge outing from Bijan Robinson to get the 131.75 to 118.95 win over myself. Goody still trying to look at the owner's agreement to find out how he can get a win as Dolan nixed that with a 112.4 to 104.0 victory. Val missed the late injury designation of Jaylen Warren with the Dublin game kicking off at 6:30 in the morning. However, it didn't matter as she easily gets the 161.15 to 120.25 win over Jesse. Matthew takes advantage of the Lamar Jackson and Malik Neighbors injuries to cruise to a 127.4 to 98.65 victory over Jacob. And in the game of the week, Simmons got the production he was seeking from Josh Allen and Cam Scatterboo, but Jeff was already off to a solid start with DK finally going off early Sunday morning and Jordan Love slamming the door shut on Sunday night. In the end, Jeff gets the 166.55 to 133.25 win over Simmons.
Hey guys, another great week. I still came out with another win, Thankfully, even though I should have not overloaded my schedule so much that I stopped playing fantasy football, if you want to take any notes on how to improve your team, just do what I do. Just overload your schedule and don't change shit. Play with less men on your roster, and apparently you'll still win. But the Jets still suck. So does Jesse. So it's time for your Sitter Sub of the Week segment. The Sit of the Week goes to Goody, where he went with Caleb Williams on the road against the Raiders over a fresh off the IR spot, Justin Fields, who posted a big 29.1 points on his bench. This 18.4 point difference would have been enough to give him that win over Dolan. The Sub of the Week once again goes to me, with Jaden Daniels still sidelined with a knee injury. I then turned to Matthew Stafford, who I snagged off the waiver wire. He came up big against a respectable Colts defense with 375 yards and 3 touchdowns to give me over 30 points and a very easy win over Jesse. Well, this has been unofficially brought to you by Beach at Deli Midtown, where Aloha is served daily.
Looking ahead to next week, I am going up against Goody in what could be an intriguing matchup despite our records combining for 1 win and 7 losses. Tony going from low score to high score this week, hoping he can keep that momentum going, while Dolan seems poised to rain on that parade. In yet another 1-7 matchup, Simmons is taking on Matt. Both teams are better than their records, but in the words of Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. Val hoping Jaden Daniels plays this week to continue her hot start to the season, while Jacob has to turn to second-year pro Drake May at quarterback with Lamar sidelined by a hamstring injury. Jesse, off back-to-back losses by Laredo's, might need to change his team name, taking on Nick, who is going to be without Bijan as he is on a bye. And in the game of the week, it's Matthew taking on Jeff. Both teams are sitting at 3-1 and want to establish themselves atop the standings. Matthew, led by CMC and Devontae Adams, hopes to get off to a good start on Thursday, while Jeff continues to ride the hot hands of Saquon Barkley and James Cook. This could be an important early season matchup that has playoff implications. Be sure to stay locked in here. So as we look ahead to week 5, the injury-riddled 49ers are taking on the Rams in LA on Thursday on Amazon Prime. Don't think that's going to be a very good game. However, the international series continues. So the Vikings, once again, they played in Dublin. Now they are playing in London. Staying out across the pond are going to be facing the Cleveland Browns in the 6:30 a.m. slot. Make sure to adjust your time if you're going to be watching that one. Followed up by the Cowboys taking on the Jets midday, and then closing out with the Bills taking on the New England Patriots, and the Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday night. Lots to unpack as we move into October. The season starts to change and it's starting to feel like it's like football season. But anyways, best of luck this week, and Commissioner out.